Good evening, Be The Oneers, and welcome. I'm Hayley Edmund, and you're watching this quiz in English. Happy New Year! We're in 2019, and we're going to get off with a blast. This is a quiz on Roald Dahl. Yes, the British writer. I thought, why not do something that, get into the British theme, bit of literature, as I do tend to have a penchant for. And who better than Roald Dahl? So tonight there's €100 up for grabs. How does one go about winning their part in €100? Well, there are 9 questions, and each question is allocated a certain number of points. From question number 1, which is worth 10 points, right up to question number 9, which is worth 100 points. And to make it a tiny bit easier for you, we give you 4 jokers. So 2 that will multiply the point score by, one will multiply the point score by 3, and another by 5. And we also give you 2 jokers, the 50-50s, that will take away 2 wrong answers per question. And for those of you who play strategically, putting your jokers down, you multiply by 3, multiply by 5 on the questions 7, 8 and 9. When you get 960 points, well, we're going to give you an extra €50 to share amongst yourselves. So let's get started with this quiz in English on Roald Dahl. Question number 1. Where did Roald Dahl write his stories? Was it in a writing hut? Was it in a study? Was it in his bedroom, or was it in the bathroom? Now, where did Roald Dahl write his stories? It's quite a particular place, a place where he got lots of inspiration. In fact, he was inspired to write there by one of his famous authors. And I will give you the right answer in just a second. The actual, one of his favourite authors was, of course, Dylan Thomas, who inspired Dahl in his writings. And his place to write was his writing hut at the bottom of his garden. In fact, if you go on the internet, you can actually see photos of that very writing hut where Dahl would go and create imaginary worlds, and what worlds he did create in his books that are legacies to this day. Now, statistically, 32% got that one correct. It was, of course, a writing hut. 18% of you thought it was his study. 26% of you thought it was his bedroom, and 24% of you thought it was his bathroom. Isle of Cock. Well done, you got that one correct. Let's move on to question number 2. Where was Roald Dahl born? Was it in England? Was it in Ireland? Was it in Wales? Or was it in Scotland? Where was Roald Dahl born? Now, I'll give you a clue. If you remember the first question, his favourite author, Dylan Thomas, was from the same place. If you know what that is, I've just given you a big clue. The right answer is, of course, Wales. Roald Dahl was indeed born in 1916 in Wales. He did end his life in Oxford in the UK, in England, but he started in Welsh. So Roald Dahl was a boyo, as we said in the quiz in English about Anthony Hopkins, just like Anthony Hopkins and Catherine Zeta-Jones. There we go. 42% of you got that one correct. 21% of you thought he was born in England. 17% of you thought he was born in Ireland, and 21% of you thought he was born in Scotland. Olivier, you got that one correct. Well done. You didn't put any jokers down. You're keeping them in your pockets. Nice. Good to see. Let's move on to question number 3. Which Roald Dahl character runs the chocolate factory? Is it James Henry Trotter? Is it Victor Hazel? Is it Mr. Tibbs? Or is it Willy Wonka? Which Roald Dahl character runs the chocolate factory? It's been made into a film twice. The last version, Willy Wonka. I've just given you the answer away. Anyway, the right answer is Willy Wonka. And that one, he wasn't played by Johnny Depp. Yes, Johnny Depp played the psychedelic, a bit trippy, a bit strange Willy Wonka, along with his Oompa Loompas. And I think I gave you a big clue there, just giving you away the answer. 51% of you got that one correct. 16% of you thought it was Mr. Tibbs in his chocolate factory. 15% of you thought it was Victor Hazel's chocolate factory. And 18% of you thought it was Charlie. Chocolate factory was James Henry Trotter, because it was, of course, Charlie who goes there with his grandpa, wins a golden ticket, eating numerous Willy Wonka chocolate bars. So there we go. Manifest, you got that one correct. Let's move on to question number 4. Who did George make his medicine for? Now, in George's marvellous medicine, who did he make his medicine for? Was it for his grandpa? Was it for his father? Was it for his mother? Or was it for his grandma? Now, who did George make his medicine for? He punishes this person and makes his own medicine, which has, instead of killing her, which was quite concerned, or him or her, because he's quite concerned about, well, this person becomes 20 foot high and, well, basically becomes a giant. The right answer is his grandmother. His grandmother, who is the main antagonist of the story, and who is described as the worst grandmother imaginable. Well, do you think she deserved it? I don't know, but after that, his father kind of comes in, tries to exploit the medicine. But yes, 43% of you got that one correct. It is his nasty, mean grandma, and he punishes her by making his own medicine. 17% of you thought it was his mother, 18% of you his father, and 22% of you his grandfather. Last day, you got that one correct. 574 of you, got that one correct, so well done. Let's move on to question number 5 of this quiz in English on Roald Dahl. Question number 5, who did the BFG snatch from the orphanage? Was it Tessa? Was it Patricia? Was it Isabel? Or was it Sophie? Who did the big friendly giant, that's BFG, snatch from the orphanage? A big friendly giant, don't forget, initially this person thought he was going to gobble her up, but he doesn't, because he's a big friendly giant. And it all ends well. I won't ruin the end. But it's a lovely story, and it's all about, it came out in 1982. In 2009, 37 million copies of the book had been sold in the UK alone, and since then, 1 million copies are sold around the world every year. What do you know? This person was named after Dahl's mother. It is Sophie. Sophie, yes, who is also his granddaughter, if I'm not mistaken, who married Jamie Cullen. There we go, bit of gossip for you. 41% of you got that one correct. It was, of course, Sophie. 19% of you thought it was Isabel. 23% Tessa. And 17% Patricia. Joseph, you got that one right, my friend. Let's move on to question number 6 of this quiz in English on Roald Dahl. It's a relatively easy one, guys. Who is Matilda's headmistress? Miss Trunchbull, Miss Stubbs, Miss Honey, or Miss Fletcher? Who is Matilda's headmistress? Matilda Wormwood is her full name, and this person wasn't particularly nice to her. In fact, the contrary, she's a bit mean, very, very mean to Matilda. I think her name is a good reflection on her character. The right answer is Miss Trunchbull, played by Pam Ferris in the film. If any of you have seen it, it's a brilliant one. Miss Trunchbull. So 48% of you got that one correct. The tyrannical monster, as she was described, and the headmistress of Matilda. 14% of you thought it was Miss Stubbs. 14% of you thought it was Miss Honey. And 23% of you thought it was Miss Fletcher. Siningdake, you got that one correct, as did 459 of you. 459 of you got that one correct. It's panning out to be a relatively easy quiz tonight. Let's move on to question number 7. We're going to go into the big bucks now. 80 points this is worth. What does Mrs. Twit put in Mr. Twit's spaghetti? Is it snakes? Is it soil? Is it worms? Or is it bugs? That sounds like a celebrity get me out of here challenge, doesn't it? What does Mrs. Twit put in Mr. Twit's spaghetti? For those of you who don't know the story, it is, of course, the Twits. And it was actually, which was stemmed from Dahl's particular hatred for beards. So he thought he'd do something against beards because he hated them, and wrote the Twits. Now, for those of you who don't know about the Twits, they're an ugly, vindictive couple who live in a house without windows because they don't want people to look in on them. Of course, kind of defeats the object because people can do more than that. You can see completely clearly in everything they're doing. They also like playing practical jokes on each other, hence Mrs. Twit putting something in Mr. Twit's spaghetti. He hides frogs in her bed. She puts worms in his spaghetti. 71% of you got that one correct. 10% of you thought it was bugs. 11% of you thought it was snakes. That would be pretty easy to kind of figure out. Someone put a snake in your spaghetti. You'd be like, meh. Sorry. You're mugging me off. Get that snake out. Unless, you know, you're in, if you think it's delicacy, snakes are apparently not too disgusting to eat. That's someone who told me that. 8% of you thought it was soil and 10% of you thought it was bugs. Ahmed, you got that one correct. Question number 8. What animal features in SEO trot? Is it a cat, a frog, a dog, or a tortoise? What animal features in SEO trot and is the antagonist, I'd like to say, for the story? It's a love story that brings Mr. Hopper and his neighbour, Mrs. Silver, together. But why? What is the animal? And just a little kind of a hint. Mrs. Silver wants his animal to get bigger, but it won't budge. Stays this particular size. And what Mr. Hoppy suggests is that he says this little, gives a little spell to say every day, SEO trot, and gradually he changes, goes to the pet shop and changes the animal. Thus, she thinks this spell is working and is convinced that Mr. Hopper has, given him the right remedy to solve the problem of this animal, which is particularly small. The right answer, 58% of you got it correct, is a tortoise, because SEO trot is tortoise the other way around. So if you turn SEO trot the other way around, it is, in fact, tortoise. 58% of you got that one correct. And just because you all want to know what happens in the end, well, he gives her a tortoise. It's so big that she says, oh, I'm not sure what to do. It's a bit big. Takes that one back to the pet shop and gets it back a better size. And she's like, oh, actually, it's okay now. Everything's good. So, a great happy ending with that. Let's move on to question number 9, the final question of this quiz in English on Roald Dahl. What is Miss Honey's first name? Is it Laura? Is it Sally? Is it Pamela? Or is it Jennifer? It's she's from Matilda, Matilda, the book by Roald Dahl, and she's a well-loved teacher who notices Matilda's full potential that neither her parents nor Miss Trunchbull actually want to realise or care about. So she kind of guides her. She's her, kind of gives her some emotional support. Let's go to the answers. The right answer is Jennifer Honey. Miss Jennifer Honey. She's 27 years old. She's beautiful. She's like the teacher that everyone wants when they're younger. And, well, she is Matilda's dream teacher. And, in fact, Matilda does her a great favour. I will let you watch the film or read the book. 61% of you got that one correct. 14% of you thought it was Pamela. 18% of you thought it was Sally. And 7% of you thought it was Laura, Isle of Cock. Once again, you got that one correct. And you put your times 5 down on that one. So, well done. You will be getting definitely your chance. In fact, now you've got 960. So, you will be taking away your part in €150 tonight because you are one of the super winners. So well done. Along with 75 of you, 75 super winners tonight who will be taking home 88 cents and 21 cents for how many? How many? 472. So well done. 472 of you will be taking away 21 cents and the super winners will be taking away 88 cents tonight. Thank you so much for playing this quiz in English with me, Hayley Edmonds. I'll be back again tomorrow night for another quiz in English. Until then, have a great evening. Goodbye.